Testing, 1 2 1 2 testing. Can you hear me now? Please tell me if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me now? 1 2 1 2 testing. Can you hear me now? Okay, there you go. Please tell me if you can hear me now. Okay, it was the settings. Sound is back. Oh my goodness. This is why you need a tech team to help you with this stuff. Guys, thank you for your patience. Thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate that. You're so kind. Okay, let's get into it. And again, once again, I apologize. I know I posted that I was supposed to be on here at 18:30, but I couldn't do it because I have to leave. I have to leave the office. I have to go home. It's late. I can't stick around here for another 30 minutes. I've been here all day. Jeffrey says loud and clear. Wonderful. Okay, guys, right before I left, I started getting ready, and as you know, you go through the wormhole, and I came across a story that really bothers me. And it really, truly speaking, it should bother you, because we appreciate and understand that we are living in a political dispensation. We are living in a political season. And so we know that every political personality, political party is jostling for an advantage, which is natural. I mean, that's the natural way of doing things. You know, when you have a political environment, you want to be up front. You don't want to be behind. And so within politics, especially within the Zambian context, it's very important for us to be very careful with what we say and how we say it. Just today, I read this statement that was posted on one of the news platforms. It said, "Treat Sangwa as a political opponent wherever he is found. PF in Lusaka directs its members." Now, let me explain to you what is wrong with this statement. Now, let me be very clear. I happen to believe that this issue of eligibility by the president has been sorted out within the confines of the Constitutional Court. That's my understanding as a layperson. Now, you could argue the fine points of the issue, but I happen to believe, like many people believe, that that is water under the bridge. It's like crying over spilt milk. It's done. The court has ruled. And of course, Mr. Sangwa is well within his rights to do what he's done. He feels strongly opposed to the filing of President Lungu. And so he's done what he's done. But against the backdrop of that, whenever you read statements like this, it's a cause for concern, because the tone, the undertone of this statement reeks of havoc, and I'll explain. You see, when you're dealing with a group of people that you preside over, and you make open-ended statements like this, where you say, treat so-and-so as a political opponent wherever he is found. Guys, that is code. That's code. The way these guys on the street understand that is, whenever you run into him, harm him. Whenever you run into him, do with him whatever the hell you want. That's how the guys on the streets background, that's how they understand this statement. It's important for leaders, and I keep saying this, guys. Leaders, whichever political party you belong to, leaders have to make sure that when they communicate with their followers, when they communicate with their foot soldiers, when they communicate with the people on the ground, you cannot make open-ended statements. You cannot make statements that have a comma at the end. You have to be concise. You have to be conclusive. You have to be comprehensive. But when you're dealing with a group of people on the ground who can interpret this line any way they want, it's a recipe for chaos. It's a recipe for potential disaster. It's a recipe for anarchy. Now, guys, I know Mr. Kennedy Kamba. Kennedy Kamba is someone that I regard as a friend. We speak on a regular basis. Anytime I run into him, we're very cordial to one another. I call him on occasion, and every time I phone him, he picks up my call. We talk. We have a very cordial relationship. But when I read this, I know what this means. Some of you may not know what this means. But it's very dangerous rhetoric. Why? Because our brothers on the ground, they interpret it in their own way. And left to their own devices, they will come up with all types of solutions, their own man-made solutions. It's like giving a child a gun with no instructions, no caution, but you put a bullet in the gun, you hand it to a child, and you say, figure it out. That kid's going to blow his brains out. That kid's going to kill someone else. Why? Because you've given the child a weapon that he doesn't know how to contain. All of you political leaders, listen to me. Regardless of who you are, talk to your people concisely. Talk to them comprehensively. If you have a community, you, Kennedy Kamba, you are the provincial youth chairman here in Lusaka. All you have to do is call all the top guys in Lusaka. Give them clear instructions. But when you say things like this, when you say, treat Sangwa as a political opponent wherever he is found, do you know what you're telling the boys from Chiboria? Do you know what you're telling the boys from Kwakanyama? Do you know what you're telling the boys from Kwa George? Makamakanga vanwamo edo baila. Do you know what you're saying? You're telling them to harm Sangwa. That's not right. If you're going to engage. The courts, he's taken those documents to the Con Court. Let them deal with it. Basangwa, you and I are not lawyers. We're not the constitutional court. We have nothing to do with that. Sangwa did not bring those documents to us. He didn't bring them to you. He didn't bring them to the guys on the street. He took them over there to the courthouse. Let the courthouse deal with it. And let the courthouse take them wherever the evidence goes. But that's their baby. But when you take it upon yourself, when leaders take it upon themselves to issue open-ended statements that end with a comma or a semicolon, that is a recipe for violence. And it shouldn't be that way. It ought not to be that way. Love him, hate him, despise him, or loathe him. He's doing what he's doing. He's taken that document to the court. Let the courts deal with it. Far be it from you and I to start issuing low-key threats, because that's what that is. Now, is this the level to which we have degenerated, that we have failed to talk, that the only resolve we have is violence? Because the truth is, that's what this is. Guys, let's not sugarcoat it. In an election year, we all have to be careful with what we say, how we say it, the tone in which you say it. Very, very important. Let's not do that. Let's not just use words for the sake of using words. And we know deep down in our hearts, we know what the consequences of those words are. Guys, being a political party loyalist is a very difficult thing. I know you've got a lot of pressure. All of them, all of you guys. Politics. Pressure that I would not even begin to fathom. I understand that. I know the stakes are high. I know we are literally in the 11th hour. I know we're standing on the precipice of do or die. But it doesn't have to be do or die at any cost. I disagree with that. At the end of the day, when the dust settles and when the dew dries, this election will be over after August the 12th. And we'll go right back to our lives. But must we be in a situation where some people are maimed, others are killed, others are made blind, others' legs are chopped off, and others are just put in a hospital bed for politics? Now, I know some of you, you're going to say, well, you wouldn't understand that because you're not a politician. Well, you can afford to talk that way because you're not a politician and you don't know what's at stake. Oh, yes, I do know what's at stake. I'm a voter, so I know what's at stake. And it doesn't matter how high the stakes are. Nothing is worth dying for in this dispensation. People died for independence and liberation from colonialism a long time ago. We don't have to die for that. If you have a political opinion, hold to it, argue it. Nomba muzambia twaishva fyolubuli, ukumana, ukuipayana, yo atireshan, yo kanshi kamumeni. No. That's so unattractive. That's very unattractive. So my take on this is that you are opening a Pandoras box when you make these statements and the guys on the ground absorb this statement. The guys on the ground will interpret, the foot soldiers, they will interpret this any way they want. This statement can cause some zealots, some political zealots, to actually follow Sangwa to his home and burn his home. It's true. That's what this means. Wherever he's found, that's what this means. And the problem with this statement is that our friends at the Secretariat, they won't know anything about what's going on the ground. They'll just hear that, oh, basangwa bari wocha, basangwa bari batobere imiotoka, basangwa bari bafumieri inso. And you're the same people that will turn around and say, oh, really? How chavi pecho? This statement breeds that sort of behavior. Let's stay away from that. Shall we? Look, we know you're loyal to the president, and as you should be. But your loyalty should have a grain of patriotism in it as well. And I'm pretty sure the president would want that as well. Civility, a sense of human decency. I think we all deserve that. Regardless of what someone thinks or what they do, nobody deserves to be maimed. Not in this dispensation, not in 2021. In 1932, yes. In 1948, yes. In 1963, possibly, yes. But not in 2021. The Word of God says, come, let us reason together. Reason together doesn't always mean we agree. Reason together means let's talk. Give me your argument. I'll give you mine. And if we don't agree, let's agree to disagree and leave it there. But far be it from us to say, if you don't agree with me, you're going to pay for it. You lose your eye, you lose your leg, your car will be burnt, your house will be set ablaze if you don't agree with me. What the hell is that about? No. I disagree with you. I don't think that's right. Nobody deserves to be maimed in this dispensation. Nobody deserves to be killed or harmed in this dispensation. Listen, why should you die for an opinion? Why? You shouldn't have to die for it. You haven't done the right thing. This statement is going to put people in harm's way. Today, it's Sangwa. Tomorrow, it will be me. It'll be the guy down the road. It'll be the lady up the street. You know, because sometimes I think, you know, when we're dealing with politics, and guys, get away from this idea that, you know, if you speak a certain way, it means you're against us and you're with us. No, man, we're Zambians. Every one of us are Zambians. Let's be civil. I know that's a stretch, but it's possible. Let's be civil. Let's be civil towards one another. Let's sort of hold the Zambian flag high and say, you know what? I don't like what you said. I disagree with you, but I don't want you to die for it. I don't want some jamoke to walk up to your car and throw a petrol bomb in your car because I disagree with you. That's not right. And that's not going to fly. So my advice, my appeal to Vasangwa and the people in his group, I would retract this if I were you. I would, but of course the stakes are high. They would never do this. They would never retract because it would be taken as a sign of weakness. It'll be taken as a sign of, and this is the dark side of Zambian politics. In Zambian politics, everything is black or white. Everything is painted in broad strokes. There are no gray areas. When you speak a certain way, they label you. No, you must be this. You must be that group. You must be that group. Nobody talks about patriotism anymore in Zambia. Everything is either red or green or blue or pink. Whatever happened to our country? What happened to Ubuntu? What happened to that? How did we get here? How did we get to a point where if I disagree with you, then I'm going to harm you? Where the hell did that come from? Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Anyway, I gotta go. Take care of yourselves, guys, and each other. Love you.